Richard Allen has been arrested, and he was hiding in plain sight.
This is Reporter Room with Jessica Della Davies.
Hello, Reporter Room investigators. My name is Jessica Della Davies, and we are here to talk about what happened to Libby and Abby. Specifically, we're talking about the Delphi murders and the case of Richard Allen. There have been some new developments in this case, and if you have not seen the live stream that I did on Wednesday, you are going to want to check that out next, and I will link it for you in the description below. So we have rumors coming out of who is supposed to be a prison inmate at the same prison where Richard Allen was moved to. We know originally he was being held in the county jail, but due to some things, predators are not very popular with the general prison population, so apparently they had to move him. And a prison inmate states that they did see changes leading up to the fact that Richard was probably going to be coming to the jail, and that Richard Allen was placed on a 24-hour security watch, which was probably for his own protection. I'm going to talk about Keegan Kline in just a moment because we have some updates on him as well, so please stay with me. Was this premeditated? There's been a lot of speculation about whether the girls were lured into this catfish account, into a trap set by Richard Allen. So was this premeditated, and has Richard Allen done this before? Hear me out. We know on February 12th, one night before Libby and Abby were done away with, they were in contact with the account run by Keegan Kline. He was the one hiding behind the photos of Anthony Shots, the catfish account. So, did Richard Allen also access this account? And if so, who else had access to this account? So authorities have charged Richard Allen and not Keegan Kline with the murders of Abby and Libby. So does this mean that Richard Allen was using that catfish account? And if so, does that mean that Keegan Kline is a co-conspirator with Richard Allen? I think that this theory is a valid theory because law enforcement have mysteriously, with no explanation, pled down Keegan Kline's charges. So did they do this because he rolled on Richard Allen? And if so, is he providing other information about other people who could have used the Anthony Shots catfish account? We are now learning that Richard Allen came forward to law enforcement and admitted that he was on the bridge on February 13th of 2017, the very day that Abby and Libby disappeared. And oh my gosh, you guys, he inserted himself into the case. How many times have we seen this before? Unbelievable. Unbelievable. A police source who is not going on record did say to iTeam 8, and I want to read it to you exactly, that Richard Allen was, quote, in the area of the killings on the day of the girls' murder, end quote. Allegedly, Richard Allen came forward to law enforcement and told them that he was in the area on the day that Abby and Libby disappeared. He even places himself onto the Monon High Bridge that afternoon, that very afternoon. And I guess because he came forward and he didn't have a criminal record, law enforcement was probably getting inundated with tips, and this just fell between the cracks. But it seemed like he tried to insert himself into the case. Everything I'm sharing with you today is my opinion, and opinions are not facts, so please don't send any negativity to anyone, anytime, anywhere. Let's be good and kind to each other. This video is for educational and entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, give this video a thumbs up so I know you were here, and make sure you hit that notification bell so you don't miss a new video or an upload. We need to talk about Ronald Logan. Ronald Logan is where Libby and Abby were allegedly found. They were found on his property. Shocking new details have emerged from a podcast that say that a memo which was submitted by an FBI agent investigating what happened to Abby and Libby, which was partially redacted, did conduct a search into Ronald Logan's home. He was the landowner of the location where the girls' remains were found. He allegedly lied about where he was at the time Libby and Abby disappeared. So this would have been on February 13th. And Ron Logan claimed falsely that he was out of the area with a friend on that afternoon, and mobile location put him in the area around that trail that Libby and Abby were on. The document also says that his voice, quote, does not conflict, end quote, with the voice of the man captured by Libby in the video. Ron Logan was never charged, and he passed away in 2020. And I have some more information on Richard Allen in a moment, so please stay with me. Abby and Libby went missing from the Moan High Bridge Trail, and law enforcement said that they appeared to have been moved and staged. And Indiana State Police arrested Richard Allen in late October, but they didn't announce it until October 31st on Halloween. He was also accused of taking a souvenir from the crime scene, but we don't know exactly what he took. Is this what law enforcement was digging up his backyard to try to find out? So has Richard Allen done this before? Because the similarities between what happened to Libby and Abby and the unsolved case of Elizabeth Collins and Lyric Cook are definitely worth noting. So Richard Allen wrote that letter that I shared with you in a prior video requesting that he get a public defender, and he was granted that. He received 2 public defenders. One is Andrew Joseph Baldwin, and he's with the Baldwin Perry Commish law firm. The other one is Bradley Rozzi of Rozzi, Hillis, Rozzi and Dean, and they will both be representing Richard Allen in the upcoming case. Also, the initial judge on this case opted to recuse himself. He was concerned about his safety. So we have a new judge, and her name is Judge Fran Gall. She will be overseeing the new case against Richard Allen, and she has a history of allowing television cameras into the courtroom. So we may be able to see this trial. And Keegan Kline admitted to using a fictitious online persona to contact Libby and is now facing separate charges, and I can't even say what they are. They're so awful. But he denies knowing anything, or he has in the past anyway, about what happened to Abby and Libby. So now we're just wondering why these charges, these 30 charges, would be reduced unless he gave them something good. So Keegan Kline is scheduled to go on trial in January of 2023, with his final pre-trial conference set for December 22nd, 2022. There's a similar case. There's a similar case to Libby and Abby's case, and I've always said that I think it's bizarre that this would be Richard Allen's first time, right? He was 44 when he committed this offense, and it's hard to believe that somebody got into their mid-40s and with a clean record but hadn't done anything like this in his past. So around 400 miles from where Richard Allen lived, there was another case back in 2012, and in this case 2 girls also went missing, also on the 13th of the month, although instead of February 13th, this happened on July 13th of 2012. And here are the similarities to Libby and Abby's case. 1, they're both underage. 2, they were both white. 3, alone in a remote area. 4, dumped in a remote area. And 5, their family members were ruled out by police. Both Keegan Kline and Richard Allen are due their day in court, and everyone is innocent until proven guilty. Subscribe and leave me a comment.